Can't afford to edit, you can't afford to publish. It's that simple. Talk about editing and copyright. As a matter of fact, we're so fortunate we have two editors here today, two professional ladies that are editors. That was one question. How did you find a good there's a lot of editors. One way to find good editors is by coming to workshops and conferences like this, where you can actually meet editors face to face. Because you can find people on the internet to edit your book. You can find people on the internet to publish your book. But do they know what they're doing? So you can self-edit your book, you just don't need to self-edit and publish. You need to send it to another editor. Because what I do when I finish my book, I put it in the drawer and I come back a week later. You'll be surprised at the mistakes you find on yourself before you send it to the editor. And in a lot of cases, that can save you some money. Because my editor has told me, she said, the reason I have not gone up on your price is because by the time I get your book, it's very new that I have to do. Whereas if Johnny sent me a book and I got to correct every other word, every other page, I'm gonna charge him $5.
And most of my clients initially were from coming to 10 meetings, and now I'm blessed to be referred by other writers whose books I've edited. I have 3 tiers. I have proofreading, I have copy editing, and I'm just now branching out into developmental editing because I've had several authors recently want me to help them through the writing process of the book. So it's one thing, you want to ask your editor, well, what format do you want to receive it in? How are you going to get the changes back to me? Do you want a finished manuscript, or can you help me as I write my chapters? To me, developmental editing is I'm right alongside you as you're writing your book. And you can call me whenever you're inspired. That's going to cost you. If you want me to look it over.
Your friends, they might see your mistakes, they might not, but in the end, they don't want to hurt your feelings. And then you put something out there and you find out, what did you do? I thought you edited this book for me. And then you've got people contacting you saying, found errors on page 1. And I've edited books before where there were errors in the acknowledgement. And then when I tell them my price, they say, well, that's too expensive. I said, well, it's better to pay on the front end than on the back end, because it costs you more on the back end. You got an error-riddled book out there on the market, and you got to pull it back, and you're talking about printing costs, marketing. That's all money wasted. So have a budget. You start writing, but think about that budget for editing. That's the most important part of the book. And I recommend at least 2 edits. Because once the editor makes it.
So the first thing you need to do is decide how you're going to set up your business. And you have pretty much 3 choices. You have the sole proprietorship. Now, when I published my first book, I set up as a sole proprietor because I didn't have any intentions of publishing anybody else. I was just going to publish Martin Williams, and that was it. So I had the sole proprietorship. Now, a couple of years later, when I decided to publish another author's book, I went and applied for an LLC, which is a limited liability company. That costs a little bit more money every year to get your license. So I went from paying $35 a year for a business license to paying about $138 a year for a business license. Now, if you want to build a corporation, which is Inc., I-N-C, I know it's more. I don't even know what it is, but I know it's about $300. It's formatting the interior and the cover. Like I said, the cover, if you got Photoshop or something, you want to take a picture and do your own cover, of course you can do that. Interior. Now we're going to move on to the printing. Now, as far as printing, we have traditional printers and we have non-traditional printers. Most traditional printers will not print under 1,000 copies. If you call a traditional printer like Rose Printing here in town, they will tell you, we can print your book, but we will not print under 1,000 books. And with the traditional printer, the more books you print, the less you pay per charge you $4 a book for 1,000, but if you do 2,000, you only pay $3 a book. Got it? So the problem is, how you gonna sell 2,000 books? Unless you got a strategy. If you got a strategy to sell 2,000 books, sell 2,000 books. Okay, and the non-traditional printers are what we call print-on-demand printers, which is what I use. It's a what we call a POD printer, print-on-demand. They will print 1 copy of the book, or they will print 1,000 copies of the book, but it's the same price. So I may pay $4 to print 1 book, or I'll pay $4 for them to print 1,000 books, $4 a book for 1,000 books. It's the same price. So in the long run, you will pay more. Now, how do you get your books into the local bookstores, or actually into the bookstores? Like I said, if you go with the POD printer, they will make sure that your book is in a database for Barnes & Noble. They can't guarantee that your book is going to be on the bookshelf when you walk into Barnes & Noble. How are you going to get your books on the bookshelf if that's your goal? Because okay, let me give you an example. When my book first came out, and I went to Borders, Borders was here, remember? And I said, oh, I got a book, will you all order my book from the bookshelf? And the guy said, has it been in the newspaper? I said, no. He said, well, then we can't carry it. We don't carry any local books that haven't been recognized by a local newspaper. And at that time, it was very hard. Oh, by the way, here's my slide. So I said that, because just to pass it around and make sure everybody see it. But it's not easy to even get into the local newspaper, because at that time, even the local newspaper was saying, no, we don't review books for self-published authors. So they turned me down at first. But like I said, you have to be persistent. So when my second book came out, and I contacted the newspaper, and she said, no, we don't publish, don't really publish book reviews, but if you send it, you just send it in and we'll see what happens. So I sent it in to her, didn't hear anything. About a week or 2 later, she called me. And she said, your book came in the day I was going home on bed rest. And I grabbed it and I took it home with me for 3 days. She said, I had 3 days bed rest, and I read your book. Loved it, and I wanted to do a book review on it. They sent a photographer out to my house to take pictures. They did a full cover spread similar to that one in the newspaper. And ever since then, every book that I published has pretty much ended up getting demographic. So like I said, that was just God that opened that door, because at that time they were just turning down self-publishing, even give them a chance. Well, I think self-published authors have come a long way. The e-book has pretty much leveled the playing field when it comes to distributing. Let's go to the store.
Can I show them?
Yeah, hold up your books, and then we got time for another break.
Are very similar, but which book would you be more attracted to? This or this? Oh, absolutely.
Show them the back.
So then we compromised, and I said, can you please put my art on the back instead? So she did, and then she's like, well, what about your pictures? So I said, I don't care if my pictures are black and white, so it's inside on the bio page. But if you haven't published, whatever method you choose, don't die with your book inside of you. Please put it out there, because these were scraps of paper that were falling out of the binder for 20 years, and now my daughter has something that she can sit down and say, oh, that explains why mom was acting so weird, or now I understand my mother a little more. The women that you want to help. I mean, everything that you have been inspired in the beginning or not. I'm not trying to take over your platform, Barbara, but just, you're here for a reason. You're not here by chance. You're getting extremely helpful knowledge from Miss Barbara that you cannot even get in a classroom. You're getting all of her 10 years condensed. It's like condensed. You know how you buy condensed software that you just need a little teaspoon and it washes everything to 20 loads? You're getting that Barbara here today. Put it to use.
Okay, when your first book come out, I mean, enjoy it, take it to fullest potential,